do a few things to get up in there on YouTube, just a few. Yes, we are live. This is the DG show with Dana and Coco. Good evening, folks. We will be speaking about recycle the black dollar. That is the topic today. Recycle the black dollar. We will be having, there you go. We will be having Miss Goins, I believe is her name, Chantel Goins, who is the president and founder of Recycle the Black Dollar. This is the new YouTube station, the DG show with Dana and Coco. Please share, please like. Definitely, I don't know. I think I'm gonna like the YouTube thing a little bit better. I think we'll be able to move around a little bit more, just a little bit more. I'm waiting for my two co-hosts to show their face. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. They must be getting themselves done up or hiding this week. We don't know. We're gonna find out in a minute.
You're not ready. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm definitely. Ah! Yeah. Let me see that line. Let me see. Turn around. Oh, I love it, Dana. I love it.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Uh-oh. Yeah. Welcome to the DG show with Dana, with Shortcut Dana and Coco. Oh my, folks. This is gonna be wonderful. I like it, Dana.
Thank you. It's freeing. It's there.
Oh, I know you feel lightheaded. I know you do.
Yeah.
You feel like doing this every once in a while, don't you?
Every once in a while, I put my shower cap on the other day and things fell down here. I'm like, oh, okay. It fell all across my face. I said, forget it. I got in the shower without it. That felt good to not worry about it getting wet and everything else. So
right.
It was an emotional day leading up to my 6 o'clock appointment. My stomach was hurting, everything. It was really a nervous day for me.
Really?
Oh my goodness. I didn't realize it was going to be that emotional for me.
You didn't wait for me to come back.
Can y'all share, please? Can y'all share?
Yeah, Coco saw it the day I did it.
I knew it was going to be emotional because I know what that means. It's a ritual that some people practice, a spiritual ritual.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I can't see how to share.
You gotta go on the YouTube. You gotta go on the YouTube live, and then you gotta go on the and then you just hit share, and then it should let you in. But you definitely gotta go to YouTube while we on live and share from there.
I am going.
Let me see if I can do it too.
I'm going.
Yeah, but it's it was a definite experience.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? Sometimes you gotta jump out the gate and reinvent yourself and do something completely new and unexpected.
Just shed all of that.
Shed all of it.
Just shed it.
Well, that's wow. I'm just wild right now, and that's all. I'm just wild.
we figured you would be.
Yeah, that's why we didn't tell you ahead of time.
That's so everybody. So that should be it's Recycle the Black Dollar and Dana Got a Cut show. That's the show.
You stupid.
All right, I shared it.
Okay.
I did it.
Get on my news feed too.
I'm gonna text Chantel and ask her to join. I was right in there. So the journey for cutting your hair, Dana, it felt really, really good.
It felt really good. It was an adjustment. Like I said, it was a definite adjustment. It was very emotional because, like I said, it's been over 15 years that I've had my locks. Yeah. And I realized that there was a lot of energy in them as well that I wanted to get rid of. Some good, some bad, but I just wanted to go fresh start new. Start all over with my own energy. I can't get that. With the energy I wanted. And like I said, I didn't even get color. I didn't get anything. I said I wasn't even going that route right now,
Yeah.
just to see where I wanted to be.
Well, you look gorgeous, girl.
Thank you.
Yes, it looks
Shows
really
your
good.
face. Yeah,
Huh?
I said shows her face.
Yes.
That's something
It
that we
looks
all
really good.
shows.
Yeah.
I like it. I definitely like it.
Yes.
I'm glad you like it.
As
I'm
Derek
glad
would
one
say,
of
you
us
got,
did.
as Derek would say, you got that Florida Evans.
Mhm. That's it right there.
He liked that Florida Evans.
Look, we got Dana froze on a
He
smile.
frozen.
Well,
Well, it's a nice freeze though.
Just look. I hit on mine. Please join us now. New cut alert.
Right.
Okay, mine gave out. Okay, did y'all hear me at all?
No, we didn't. You were
Oh,
frozen.
good, because I sure was yelled at my door like, did the TV go out? She's like, I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, okay. But thank you, Derek. I did hear you say it shows my face. Thank you. It shows all my face. That's for
It
sure.
does.
Definitely. This
Yeah.
wind picking up. That's for sure.
It was. I was just out there when I came in. As I was joining, I had just run in from outside. The rain started. The wind picked up. It was crazy out there for a second. I'm glad it started as I was parking.
Right.
Did she join yet?
Where you at? No, not yet. Oh, wait a minute. No, she's not here yet. But I was thinking about some stuff. I mean, when she comes in, we'll definitely get into it. But it's some interesting things that I think that the whole recycle the black dollar. I just think it's some things that we can bounce off of individually as well as smaller groups. I don't think that I was telling Dana, I don't think that we're at a point where someone else has the same kind of idea, we won't assist them, or we won't come in with them, or we won't back them, even though they have the same idea. And I think that slows us down. But I think
we just want to do our own thing instead. Because it depends on where you're coming from. You have to, a lot of times you have to set ego aside, and because we can go alone, but we be more powerful going together.
Right.
We would be far more powerful going together.
Far more.
But that's the there's a proverb on the recycle the black dollar. I believe it's recycletheblackdollar.us.
Yes. And that was intentional. Us.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here she comes. Well, I'll hold my comment until our guest comes on. Give me a second. Good evening.
Hey, girl.
Hi,
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
I'm doing well. Glad you could make it this evening. Definitely you have I guess your business is a hot topic nowadays. I'll say it that way.
Yes.
It's a hot topic for us to even start the process of thinking about holding on to our dollars, being thoughtful of where we spend our dollars, planning ahead.
More
all of that
intentional.
goes into recycling the black dollar. First off, can you introduce yourself as well as give us a little bit of background on Recycle the Black Dollar?
Yes, sure. First, I just want to say thank you for inviting me and sharing your platform with me to talk about Recycle the Black Dollar. I am Chantel Clee-Goins. I'm the founder, president, and CEO of Recycle the Black Dollar. And so Recycle the Black Dollar, it is not for me a business, but it is my contribution to our community as we're, as a nation, making a very conscious shift in how people treat, interact, and respect Black people. And so as far as the collective, where everything is going, Black people have united in the streets for justice, for criminal justice, around criminal justice. Black people have just united and saved this country from itself at the polls. And so now we have to save ourselves.
Yes, we
And to be able to do that, it's going to take some money. Black people contribute $1.2 trillion annually to the US economy. But only 2% makes its way back into the Black community. 2-3%, depending on who you're talking to.
I did some math real quick. I did some math on that. With us being only about 48 million Black folks in the country,
13% of the US population, yeah.
$1 trillion spending power over a course of a year, that's over $20,000 spending per
We run
Black
this,
person.
and we could literally run this if we do what we supposed
We got
to.
we got all the power, but we don't use
Yeah.
it.
But here's I think the biggest piece for me is not only understanding what the numbers mean, but actually connecting the dots in a very real way.
Okay.
And so I'll back up. Recycling Black Dollar for me was a vision that I had for about 4 years. So I resigned in 2016 as the events manager from the NAACP. I did that to launch my own business, Clee Event Productions. And when I did that, I had a mixture of companies. I had companies that were, who budgets were similar or on par to NAACP. But then I also had clients who were growing their business and their budgets weren't there yet. Mm-hmm. And so the vendors that I had been using the past, umpteenth years, right? Their fees did not meet or could not absorb or could not be consumed, I should say, by the smaller clients. And so for me, I was like, it would be great if there was a tool where, service professionals like myself can go to find another service professional to be able to meet the needs of my client. And so that was the thought of, okay, let's make sure that we get some type of directory out. And I would tell this to people all the time. I said, y'all should do this. This is a great idea. You should really, really do it. And nobody ever did it. And so we were in COVID, and it hit me that being in isolation, the one thing that I missed the most about NAACP was the work and the contribution that I had played towards the collective advocacy for our community. And when you start your own business, you're taking taking jobs and products that you believe in, but it may not sort of really fit that advocacy hole. It's something that you will put your brand behind, but it's something a little different. It rings a little differently when you're actually bringing your time and your talent to help a larger community.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really missed that. And I said, you know what? I know why this business ain't take off, because it wasn't for anybody else to do. It was for me to do. Right. And so it was, that moment of clarity for me that the prescription and the vision that God gave me, it wasn't for me to sell to anybody. It was for me because I see exactly how it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to function, and how it can contribute to the collective community. And so for me, that's where it really came from. It has been a baby that has been incubating since 2016. I just pushed it out and continue to push it since we've been in COVID. And it's rooted in the 4 pillars of Recycle the Black Dollar, which is reduce, recycle, reuse, and reclaim. Okay. And I picked each of those 4. One, because reduce, I want to make sure that we're being very intentional on the volume in which we, money and resources leave the Black community. Recycle is recycling the Black dollar in the Black community so that it can stay in it longer, exponentially longer than the current 6 hours. So when a Black person gets $1, within 6 hours, it's gone. Yep. In the Jewish community, it can stay for about 28 hours. The Asian community, same thing. They're in the 20-hour window where their dollar can remain in their community. In the 1921 massacre, prior to it being burnt, the original Black Wall Street, $1 in a Black community could stay in the Black community at least a year.
Wow.
And so that's why there were so many businesses, and that's why we were so profitable, or our community was so profitable then, because we would be able to stimulate our own community.
And that's what we want to get back to.
That's what we want to get back to. And so that takes us to reuse. And so to be able to do that, to stimulate our own community, we need to reuse the talents within the Black community to build and fortify economic justice and power for the Black community. And then reclaim is the last pillar. And we need to reclaim our time and the life cycle of the Black dollar that built the Black Wall Street. And so those are the 4 pillars that that Recycle the Black Dollar is rooted in. And from that foundation, I bring my love language, which is producing events for Black people that empower, educate, and entertain them. And that marries those two. Those are the cornerstones of who I am. And that's how we have Recycle the Black Dollar.
Okay.
Wow.
So there's something on your website, recycletheblackdollar.us. The first thing I believe, and it's the African proverb: if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Right.
And that's what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
I think this country has taught everyone to be individuals. So we're trying to go somewhere as quick as we can, a lot of times to prove or disprove certain things, maybe even aspects in our own mind. We need to prove that we can get this or get that. Talking about materialism, even if that's buying a house or getting your own business. But the longevity is what's important to the community and to the Black family as a whole. Can you speak a little bit on, or ladies, you can jump in, a little bit on how individualism is needed, but it has to be, I'll say, controlled?
So I would say that I'll push back on something that you said. You said how the country was taught to be individual. It wasn't. The country themselves, they structurally put things in place for other communities, especially the white community, for them to work together as units. It was very much institutionalized, and structured, so that we were starting out with slavery, that we did not trust each other, that we did not support each other, and that we would second guess each other. And so those things live in the fabric of our community over the last 401, almost 402 years. And that's something that we have to actually combat, the actual taught behavior from when we originally came here. And it shows itself to be true over the span of Black people being in the US, right? And so because of that, you get to the place where Black people will say, oh, I'm not dealing with that Black business because they don't have this, that, and the third. Well, you got to remember that this Black person decided to be the first person to break out, whereas their white counterparts probably was handed a check and said, here you go, or was already given the storefront. And this Black business just had a dream in their heart, right? They just got a dream in their heart, and they want to build something, but they don't know about bookkeeping. They don't know about getting your licenses and insurance, or they may be a great cook, but cannot bring enough people on to have great customer service. And so people like your food, but when they interact with the person that is serving the food, people come in and they're judging them. But a part of that other piece too is that we go into our own establishments up here.
Yeah.
We waiting. We go in on ready
with an expectation.
We go into a white establishments like, well, I know I'm gonna get a good deal, or I'm gonna get a good price. But when you walk and you'll take anything from them, you don't care how they treat you. You don't care. You just know you got it. and that it's of some stature, or
Yeah.
because it came from the white community, that it has to be better than this. No,
And to
you
show them that you got the money, you'll spend it there just to show them that.
right,
Yeah.
and right. You feel like you have to prove that, oh, I have $1, so I can afford to be here. And it's like, no.
Meanwhile,
And
you're
those are
supporting them.
right. And so all of those things, all those little things, there's a whole bunch of little things that make up the collective distrust that we
Yep.
have in our community. And so because of that, there's a lot that we have to combat against. And so for, like I said, my love language is events that entertain, educate, and empower. And so the Recycle the Black Dollar, we're producing our first virtual conference. I'm getting ready to say the date, this November the 27th through the 30th, which is Black Friday through Cyber Monday. And those dates are very intentional, but I want to jump back for a second. We're opening up the conference with our first panel on that conference is talking about the impact of segregation and the impact that it's having on our community. And then we have other topics, that panel discussions where we'll talk about, their dollar isn't greener and their ice is not colder. And really getting into the historical and the psychological issues that we deal with as a community, why we don't invest the way that we do. Right. Because that is a part of as a collective unit, poor mind state, right? We stimulate this economy 1.2 trillion annually, and we're only 13% of the population. That is extremely disproportionate, right? Then we need to figure, and then we have to understand and come to the realization that every other community understands our buying power, and they continue to exploit our buying power.
Yep.
Because we have not gotten ourselves together enough to unite. And
I have a question on that. So I have a theory, and I've had this theory for a long time, that one of our issues with, I'll say, smaller communities and businesses that operate within our communities directly, not any of the bigger stores necessarily.
You're talking about the corner Chinese stores?
That and the fast food restaurants and the gas stations, things that are just, but definitely the corner stores. In my opinion, those that have first off the means, meaning the money, to be able to break that up, or even to come back to your own neighborhood and say, we're going to take this, and this corner in this square mile radius, and I play for this football team, basketball team. We're going to put my name on the store. By the time, within a year to 3 years, 95% of the products inside will be Black products. So we'll be starting that. It might be a little warehouse outside the city or somewhere else that's holding our products. But in my opinion, things like that are missing. And like you said, it's going to be somebody that just wants to start a corner store, and they're starting from scratch, and they may be putting their family behind this idea, and it's actually putting the bills behind this idea. But it's those very rich and influential, I'm not going to say they don't, but not really.
I think a lot of the problem also is that the consumer, the Black consumer, when we patronize our own, we're also looking for a hookup. There's so many people looking for that hookup, thinking and looking at the price. These prices are crazy, but you don't say that when you go to the other establishment. You're not saying that when you go to Walmart and everything else. Or the other corner store. You're not complaining about their prices.
They're not saying that is because people consume from those other outlets in volume, so that brings the price down. So when they go into those establishments, the price is going to be lower than the Black consumer, right? I mean, the new startup Black business, because they don't have the volume. And so it's understanding, demand, supply and demand. And so if you don't have if you don't have a large demand, you can't buy in larger volume, which is going to bring down
Right.
your net cost. And so people say, well, I don't feel like spending all of that extra money to deal with this Black garden or this. You can give it to this community or that community because prices are cheaper and they will undercut the Black business because they are more of not just their community, but our community is supporting them. And so they can take a hit.
Right.
When we're just
And when
trying
they
to
feel
start
like
up.
it, they price gouge.
Right.
Some people and
I
people
mean, even dollar for, right.
go ahead.
Even company sizes, I've seen it the same way where it's a corner store here and a corner store here. And just because it's owned by the Black person over here, you're expecting, because Pookie and them, or whoever, they're expecting something from their own. And I think we need to get away from that as well. I know we can't compete with Walmart and Target. I get that part. But I think we need to also just change our mindset also, because you're not asking Mr. Fleischman to lower his prices where you're asking, Mr. Washington to lower his, just because you know him.
Right. When you walk into Mr. Fleischman's building, you're going to put respect on him when you walk in.
Exactly.
You're not going to double talk him.
Asking him nothing. Right.
You're right. You're going in, he say it's $18.99. You're not coming in there with $10. You're not coming in there with $17.50. Right. You're going in there, but that goes back to the institutionalism of it all. Black people have been, taught you don't, buck against certain authority. People, whether they pay attention to it or not, when they see certain people, they won't say certain things. Now you'll try your cousin in a minute because you'll try him in a minute. And if it's either just talking or just trying to haggle or negotiate, you're gonna try your cousin. But when you walk into the Honda dealership versus the Johnson dealership, you're not going to get haggling. You're gonna say, they're gonna tell you this the sticker price, take it or leave it. But when you go down the street to this Black dealership, you're happy because your comfort level and you're in the unconscious built-in program authority that has been programmed in your mind. You're thinking that I can't go in here. They're gonna tell me no. Well, if they think if I go in here and I ask them for this, they ain't gonna think I got enough money. They ain't gonna think I can afford this, or they gonna be judging me. So I'm gonna pay the top dollar. But when you go down there, you got the same money in your pocket in this store than that store, but you go same money. Like, well, why I can't get a hookup? Why you not cutting? Why your price is so high? I can go over here because their price is cheaper. You're gonna have to go there, but you have to be clear on what you're doing when you make that decision. You have to be conscious about what you're doing. Again, Black people stimulate the mainstream economy, $1.2 trillion.
Definitely.
The government was very intentional on what states they reopened during this pandemic. Why? The states that they opened leads the country in Black buying power. Money. And if people were paying attention enough, they also knew the checks came out. The checks came out, and then so did the Jordans, right? And so did some of these other things where they know Black people are going to do it. And it's not a knock, huh?
Yeah. It's going to stimulate the economy.
It's going to stimulate the economy and the dollar. Those greenbacks are what rule. It does not matter what you look like. To them, it's your health, your grandmother, your asthmatic, your diabetic. None of that matters to the government, right? And to certain, I can't just blanket them, to certain people that are currently in authority, it doesn't matter to them. They're all about dollars, right? The bottom line, they look good on paper. If it puts them in the black and takes them out the red, that is what's going to move the needle. So health be damned, but if I'm going to write this check with my name on it and make sure that the places are open for you to be able to cash that check to get me back out the black and out the red and into the black, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to start with the states that have the strongest black buying power. It was not a coincidence that Georgia opened and Wyoming was not. They don't have the black buying power.
They don't have no buying power.
Right.
In the middle of Wyoming. It's not
it's intentional. Like people have to look beyond what is just being told to you.
I think when I was taking notes, you're hitting on something without saying specifically that, but I think the Black community needs to understand that not only have we been groomed to think a certain way, we've been studied thoroughly.
Oh, absolutely.
How we move, what we like. They understand that if the Black community grabs it, whatever company that is, boom,
Yeah.
automatically. It's just gonna, think about us now. We out buying Gucci belts, something we can't afford, a belt. But they buying, but the bootleggers are making $1 million off of fake Gucci belts because of us.
Yeah.
So we've been studied on our spending habits. Definitely, this country has an understanding that hip hop culture is a lot of the spending that's going on in this country, just from somebody putting a style in there or a liquor in their lyrics. You get
and we like to think we're free thinking and independent, but we're not. That's why millions are spent on marketing, millions are spent on PR and all that type of stuff. You're not independent thinking. You're doing what the masses
We're not.
doing.
And one of the target demographics is the African American woman, and that's who they target most of the advertisements to as well. Because we're the head of the house, huh? We got it. We got a lot of power.
Black women are. Awesome. Listen, we are magic.
We just saved this country.
Y'all just saved the country. Y'all just saved the country. Without a doubt.
This wasn't the first time. This was on brink and repeat. Black people saving this country from slavery. We nurture and fed the white families. We clean behind them. We saved them. We built this country in a very meaningful but underappreciated way. And Black women have the most undervalued and disrespected species. And it's crazy because when we say go, it moves mountains. Our voice means so much, but we're not respected for that very same voice that brings value, that brings clarity, that brings so much. And it is, I know, not just as it pertains to Black women, but just the Black community as a whole. A lot of the things that we're talking about, it hadn't happened because it wasn't a large enough shift in the atmosphere. I think that moving forward, and this is prior to my belief, prior to the recent election, it had everything to do with just everything that happened this summer with George Floyd, with Breonna Taylor. It is a very real.
There's a shift going on.
I think the shift for me, the shift began, well, not began, but with Sandra Bland. She did something. She planted that seed. She did something to us.
So I would push back on that because people, it was a lot of doubt and different things that happened with Sandra Bland, with Trayvon Martin, with all the other people that had gone before George Floyd.
Yeah, it had to be that video.
The video resonated when that man was like, he didn't care at all. Like, I mean, he did not blink. Like, to literally, for white America to see themselves in a modern day lynching, that was like, wait a minute, y'all.
It hit different. It did.
It was like, this is really happening.
Because with Sandra Bland, it was like, oh, she, in the jail cell, she killed herself. And then people was like, well, is she, they had the different pictures of how they were, what I mean? It was a lot of controversy around a lot of different killings. With that, with George Floyd,
he definitely
eyes could not do nothing but tell you what was on that. You know what I mean? Everything else was like, don't believe your lying eyes. But this one is like, and we got
you can't even look away.
It's there.
You hit it. White folks had plausible deniability until they saw George Floyd. They could talk around Sandra Bland.
Yeah.
Well, we're not real sure. We don't. It sounds a little fishy, but
Right.
George Floyd is no talking about it. There's no
Right.
way to talk around it other than he was just being mean and nasty because, and that
Yeah.
was it.
He just sitting there like he waiting for the Jeopardy bell. Ding, ding,
Right,
ding.
right.
Right.
Like he was waiting for his order to be picked
Yeah.
up. Like, so y'all call my number yet? Like it was
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also I wanted to when I went on your site, I also read that you said specifically 2020 has shifted economic trajectory for Black folks. Can you explain that?
Yeah. What I mean by that is Black people felt like, all right, I got to do something, right? And so not only did they feel like they had to do something, they wanted to buy Black. Now, Black businesses did not just pop up once George Floyd died, but their conscience woke up in a different way. And they felt like at this point, I have to do something more in my community. And how do I do that? It is buying and supporting another Black business. Now, when I say that though, a lot of different things come into play. You see a lot of shirt companies saying messages and stuff like that. A lot of those things have been taking place. But I think that a larger part of the conversation is going to happen again back into the service professional space. We see a lot of Black people on TV, but a lot of them aren't represented by Black people.
Right.
Their representatives are white. Again, it goes to that mind shift that if a white person is representing me, then I'm going to be taken seriously. I'm going to be, I'm going to be able to get into more doors, or they're going to do the best
They're
job.
going to be able to be in the room.
Right. And
At the table.
And that's not oftentimes the case. And so for me, it's more than, now that it's all of this injustice and it's rallying and everybody's buying these different shirts. And I'll say I'm a part of, like, I got a mess in a bottle shirt on today, right? But it's bigger than that. It's understanding that Black people are not just making shirts. They're not just in restaurants. Where are the Black gas stations? Where are the Black farmers? Where's the Black optometrists? Where are the Black physicians in general, right? Where are the Black accountants? Where's the Black housekeeping, right? Because some people like, I don't want a Black person cleaning my house. You're going to get the money to somebody if you want your house.
Job too.
Yeah.
You're going to get the money to somebody.
Something like that earlier.
Yeah. They need a job.
Some people be like, I don't want to have another Black person cleaning my baseboards. Listen, that money, if that's what that person's ministry is, they like to clean,
right?
Stop them.
That's their business.
Because that money is going into their house, which is going to ultimately stimulate our community. And that person, they're able to start building wealth for their family. That money that you're giving them could very well help them keep the lights on, put gas in a car, or go towards seed money for them to buy a house in that community, so that so that the school systems can go up, so that it's better representation across the board. And so we have to realize that Black people consume every sector, in industry.
Yes, we do.
And oftentimes we're dominating. If we're not necessarily dominating, our ideas are, and they're masked as something else. We are the culture and the soul of this country. A lot of things do not move unless Black people sign off on.
That's right.
And that's not being cocky. That's not being overly ambitious. Those are facts. There's no reason that you can convince me that white people in the middle of America are dressing like my cousins. Black people signed off on that. They said it's cool.
Yeah.
Right.
People are not saying certain things. They're not doing fist bumps. You know what I mean? They're not doing certain things unless we signed off on it. And so for me, 2020 is very clear that the vision for me is clear that it is the real shift where we are not only holding ourselves accountable, but we have to answer for what we consciously do moving forward past this moment, right? So will we continue to, okay, I understand what happened. I probably didn't support as many Black businesses, but what am I going to do now?
Right.
That's this moment. So that's, for me, is what the shift is. It's being conscious of what you're doing past this moment.
Right.
Because everybody's doing it right now. Everybody's contributing to the Black community.
Right.
They cutting checks to this organization. People buying shirts from over here. People got, Black people sharing. I mean, white people got Black people on their Instagram to raise awareness about this, that, and the third.
Right.
But what will you do past this moment? And how will they continue to respect us past this moment? And the only way to do that is for us to unite our money. Right now, doing it came out of the injustice and how we united around that. And I will say, and I'm not painting the white community with a broad stroke, but a lot of white people posted those Black Lives Matter signs in their front yard, not because they believed it, because they didn't want no smoke come to their house.
Right, they're scared.
That's like we with y'all type
Black
thing.
Lives Matter.
Yeah, right.
What the?
Black Lives Matter.
I'm on your side.
The election told us that.
Yeah.
The election told us that all them BLMs ain't wasn't.
No.
People lie.
This
People lie. Numbers don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
People lie. Numbers don't.
I ain't think about that. Like, I'm gonna put this right here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I rolled past. We're from Baltimore. I'm not gonna say exactly where, but I rolled past a particular community, and I went to pick something up. I got Black and white friends. I went to pick something up from a white friend, and I go down the street, and I said, "Well, my God, there's a lot of Black Lives Matter."
Right.
I mean, they were out. There were the Black Lives Matter signs out more than the election signs.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, my God, really? So that's what we doing. And I counted. It was the little white kids and their daddy, and people ain't got no shoes on, walking up down the street, and they got a Black Lives Matter sign. And then it's another one. Then you get to the corner, it's a big one on the corner. And I said, well, what is happening? So then I go up the other street, and I started counting at this point. And I had my assistant on the phone. I said, you're not gonna believe it. And I'm counting. And then you get back out to this main thoroughfare, and you go up less than 2 minutes. And it's an open air drug market. I said, oh, they didn't want no down here.
Don't come around
You
here.
scared? Say you scared.
We love y'all. We love y'all. Hold up. We love
They
y'all.
like, look, we come. I said they didn't.
We
They
come in
didn't go.
peace.
And see, here's where you know a Black life really matters. Who printed them signs?
Right.
I bet it
Who
was.
printed those signs?
We didn't.
Right.
This the print probably print them signs. You understand what I'm saying? You did not go to Time Printers, the oldest Black printing house in Baltimore. You did not go to Black Classic Printing, another Black timeless printing house in Baltimore. You went to Staples.
Right. They don't
You
think
went
that's
to
why.
FedEx. Because if a Black life matters, so does service in their business also matters. It's not about being safe. It is also about respecting and investing. And so you putting a lawn sign up in your yard so that you feel like we're not gonna come to your community and tear your stuff up. Black people ain't just randomly doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So first of all, quit it. And if you want somebody to believe you, let's put some real action behind it. And then again, that's where the numbers tell the true story.
Right.
Where was that dollar spent?
Yeah.
And it was not in the Black community, yet and still you're exploiting a moment with Black people's signs up and down your block.
Right.
Just because you don't want them there and you want me to believe that my life really matters. I can't.
I didn't think about, I've never thought about till you just said it about the shirts, the signs, all of the things. All
on Amazon.
That mostly, let's be honest, when all of the marching and all of the so-called riots were going on, that was mostly white folks.
Yeah.
It was mostly white
Listen,
folks.
that ain't breaking news to me.
But
Let me just say this. When you known on the 12th of never have you known a Black person to own a masonry or brickland company? Where are we getting slates of bricks from?
Right.
Right.
Black people ain't just coming up with bricks. We ain't randomly. It's pallets of bricks being dropped off places.
Right.
Black people don't own bricks.
If we did, we not using them for that.
Baby, listen. Okay, we're building. We try. Listen, you need a built an in-ground pit in your yard. You need something like we try out here trying to get another coin. We ain't throwing it in nobody's window. We can't get that back. Okay, we're not out here throwing bricks. So it's it is understanding the story that's being told to you. Literally, do not believe your lying eyes. That concept is very real when people are talking in the vein of Black people. But the other piece for me is, and which is why Recycle the Black Dollar struck a very different chord to me, and why I said I was intentional on placing this conference the way that I did. I have an Amazon problem. I got a real Amazon problem.
Dana's talking to you.
That's my bestie.
Listen, I got
5 packages just today.
So listen, so when I was working on Recycle the Black Dollar, but I was still ordering stuff through Amazon. I said, Chantal, you gotta get your life together. You're not consistent. You're not consistent, sister. But here's where it struck and rang a little differently. I was going through and I was looking, and it was a white lady with a bathing suit on and said, "I love my melanin." And I dug a little deeper. I'm like, sis, you have zero melanin. And so
zero.
So I look different. I look a little deeper. And what happens is white businesses are taking the ideas of our Black owned businesses that said that, I want to get in front of the masses, and I want to make sure that it's available on Amazon. When you do that way that the algorithm is placed, some people believe it's shell companies at Amazon. Some people believe that a whole bunch of other different things, right? But they take our ideas, they post them, and they get on the first page because they know people in general are lazy. So you're not going to swipe page 2, 3 to make sure that third party vendor is actually a Black business. You're going to go with the shirt or the whatever it is you're looking for on the first page that can get you that prime, and that's going to get it to you early and going to get it to you cheap. The reason why you're going to go with that is because you've been conditioned. And it goes back to the thing that I was saying before. White people are able to undercut our prices because they can consume the initial price in volume where we cannot. And so when you're going through Amazon and you see, I'm loving my melanin, or melanin is popping. If this bathing suit is $12, but this one is $25, you're gonna go with the $12 one. Well, why is it the same thing and it's costing different? One, because oftentimes this is purchased by a white company and it's taking our message and it's selling it, and it's selling at a cheaper rate, and the algorithm puts them to the top of the list. And so because people are lazy and they don't want to do their homework, right, or they're not digging, they're just going to go with what was easy. And Black people aren't able to consume as much as we could for our products that we're placing on Amazon, which is why Google was like, oh, we're going to make a Black people check. Facebook trying to do the same thing, because as a part of them telling, we really have been using the algorithm to press how your message has been getting out there, right? When you can control certain communities, and when you can control the space where other people are communing, you can regulate who sees what, when, and where.
Right.
So
a part
Social
of
Dilemma is an excellent movie to watch, an excellent documentary to watch.
But to jump on
that social dilemma struck my chord in a different way.
Yeah. But
Social Dilemma blew my mind.
But to go with this, and this is along the ways of Social Dilemma, it's along the ways of the algorithm, and what Chantal said, I want everybody on Facebook, get the frame that we get to put up, change your frame to Recycle the Black Dollar.
Right. And so the reason why we were intentional, thank you for that, Audrey. We were very intentional about that. So when you go to Facebook, people have different, your profile picture has different frames. You can do something if you are in a sorority or fraternity, or if you're voting, or you want to mark yourself safe in, COVID or whatever the case may be.
Pray
I
for
was
something.
intentional on making sure that we had that Recycle the Black Dollar frame to go around people's profile pictures, so people know, one, I am a Black business and you can spend your Black dollar here. Or two, I'm very intentional on where I'm spending my dollar. And I want to make sure so that profile thing speaks to like-minded people. And so people can easily know, and they're not being fooled by, oh, this is a Black business, or this, because a lot of times too, in the ads, people, you see that it was sponsored by something. And if you do enough digging, some of those things are not purchased, are not owned by Black people. They have Black people in the ads, but it's not actually owned by Black people. Right. And so the conference that we're having and the directory itself, it's very intentional on making sure that as many Black people as possible have a space that do not, that's not charging them for their Blackness to get their brand.
Tell us how to have your business included on recycletheblackdollar.us.
All right, so if you go to recycletheblackdollar.us, when you get to that page, you'll go up top in the toolbar, the navigation toolbar. I would encourage everybody not to do it from your phone, do it from an actual computer. And when you get there, tap the directory. And then you'll have a search bar in the middle, and just under that, it's a green button that says join for free. Our directory is free. I do not believe in charging Black people for being Black. I think Black people are taxed enough. Okay. And so my mission is to make sure that this directory includes as many Black businesses as possible. And then if there is a Black person looking for a Black business, they know that this is an actual Black business and I'm not being hoodwinked by algorithms or anything else. This is a safe space to find resources so that I can give back and be intentional about where I'm spending my money, not just spending my money, organizations that I want to be a part of, or a doctor. If I just move to a new state, I want a Black doctor. I might live in Wyoming.
Oh my God.
Black doctor out there. You know what I mean? People move into new communities.
You had to go somewhere else in Wyoming and get a Black doctor. I'm telling you that.
Say that again.
Ain't no bros in Wyoming. You had to cross the state line.
Well, I keep throwing them out, but just wherever in God's country, you want to feel comfortable.
So is the directory up and running? And if so, what's the easiest way for someone to click on the directory?
So again, when you go to the directory page, you can it'll say what you're looking for. You can say hair salon or diner, and then you type the city. We have about 10,000 businesses in there, okay. But that is a very small number when you're searching across the country.
Right.
I live in Baltimore. There is not enough of Baltimore in the directory, right? But I live here. And so if you go and search you probably looking for your favorite restaurant, like this directory ain't nothing. They ain't got but 4 restaurants. Well, I can't encourage the people to add their stuff in fast enough to a free database.
Right.
That's why we have ambassadors, so that they
free advertising to your people. You
easily
want to enter your stuff, get in there, put whatever business you got in there.
Right. Yeah. And so that's why we have ambassadors, because my network goes but so far, but your network expands, and then your network expands, and that's what helps. And this is all self-funded. This is my part of, I didn't go out in March, but this is my part in, participating in this moment. Right. This is making sure that I am contributing to my community in a way that I feel like we need. Because again, after the protests, because it's getting ready to get cold, people ain't gonna keep going outside demonstrating. Right. They're gonna be in the house, and then they're gonna be hashtag and talking about, oh, I did something. or now the elections are over. And you know, what's next for Black people? The only way for us to keep up this momentum is for us to actually galvanize our wallet, because when people galvanize their money, when community galvanize their money, they talk to them differently. You do not go to the Jewish community talking crazy. You just don't do it. I'm not knocking the Jewish community. I'm trying to read the playbook.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to take cliff notes so that I can share it with my community. I'm not knocking you. I got a good girlfriend that's Jewish. Love her to death. We don't have no tension.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but I need to know how you guys are operating so that your community as a whole is operating at a level of success, so I can bring that back to my community and we can continue to grow, because everybody else got a 400-year head start on us. And so we just try and catch up.
Yeah, I agree. Most of us trying to catch up. Some of us don't care. But I'll say this about us.
I think people care in their own way.
It's never the masses that start anything on a grand scale right now in the Black community. It's never been the masses that started it. All the elders that talk about MLK back in the day, it was a lot of folks that hated MLK for stirring things up back in the day.
Right.
Just being
the same reason we love them is the same reason they hated him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So even with the white community, they love Muhammad Ali right now. They'd have lynched him if they had a chance back in the day, because he was anti-American according to them.
Right.
So I think that once things start to snowball, and they are now, we're in the middle of things snowballing and getting bigger and bigger. People will latch on a whole lot more, because in my mind, your directory is a digital Black pages.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It really came out of, I like history. Like I love Black history. I really do. I'm not a major history buff, right? But there are elements of our history that I'm super in love with, because it's perseverance. It's a journey that I'm just in awe of. And a part of that was the actual Green Book. And I have a couple of them over there. But the actual Green Book, which was the directory, which was a safe haven guide for Black people to be able to travel.
Yes.
I think it started in like 1930 something, 1932 or something like that. But it was a guide that this gentleman by the name of, I think it's James Green, something, I can't think of his first name, but his last name is Green. And this was letting people know, like, all right, you go here to stop. These are downtowns. You know, you cannot be caught in this particular town after sundown.
Right.
They talked about it in that show that I just watched. Gosh, what's the name of that show? Everybody was just binging.
So these are some of the Green Books.
I remember stories about them. I definitely did. And the kicker is this. That was done, a lot of it was done out of economics with the Green Book, but a lot of it was done out of safety.
Fear.
Oh, it started. Its genesis was for safety. So the gentleman, the gentleman that started it, his name escapes me, but he was, I believe, the story was told that he was out of New York and he was in Harlem. But he went down south and it was a whole totally different world. And so that's how the book came about. Because it's like, wait a minute, how do y'all operate down here? So it was like again, like when Black people do it, it catch on.
Lovecraft Country. That they highlighted the Green Book on Lovecraft Country.
Oh, I can't watch that. I keep hearing that's scary. I can't.
Oh, it's not scary. You got to get past that part. It's just a little section of it that's scary. You would love Lovecraft Country.
I'm with you.
They highlighted the Green Book. Nope, it is not scary. That's absolutely farce.
Okay.
But, that's a farce for real. Seriously, you have to.
The first thing you said is you could get past that. So
no, it's just a small little portion of it. It's a farce that it's a scary show. It's not. It's absolutely not. They highlight.
I'll watch it in the afternoon. No, I ain't watching it at night.
Right.
I can get with that because I thought so, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not watching that." But then my sister told me, she said, "No, that part just passes real quickly. You got to watch it."
Okay,
I'm telling you, watch it.
But the Green Book is a movie, correct? It's also a movie.
Yes, it's a
Right,
movie.
okay.
So here's the funny thing. I can't think of the actor's name, black guy. He got an Oscar that year, and people were up in arms. They're like, this particular, I cannot think of the other movie it was up against, but the year that he won the Oscar, people were up in arms and they could not understand why this movie, The Green Book, nobody ever heard of The Green Book,
Right.
why it got nominated or was
Because they didn't watch it.
because they didn't know about it. And I'm like, black people, y'all can't be mad. This is a win for us. Hello. Just because it wasn't in your theater don't mean it wasn't a win. It's a win for us.
Right.
Go watch the movie.
Right.
That's why you gotta watch Lovecraft, because it
Still talking about love.
history. I'm telling you, the history that you're looking for and that you're talking about, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. You're gonna see a lot of stuff in there. A lot
Put it
of
on my list.
it's gonna hit you. It's gonna hit you different. I'm telling you. Gotta watch it. It's gonna hit different.
Okay.
Chantel, we about ready to wrap it up. Can you let us know again about your upcoming
Conference.
Your conference weekend?
How to reach you on Recycle the Black Dollar.
Yeah.
How to get the frame on the picture, and what else we need to know.
Well, I'm gonna go over those things. And if you think of something else, just let me know and I'll circle back to it. So again, if everybody could go to our website, if they know of a black business, go to the link, copy and paste it and text it to a black business that you know. And that's www.recycletheblackdollar.us. If you type in .com, we own that too, but it's gonna take you back to .us. And I did that intentionally because I want people to know this is us. It's not .us, it's .us. This is us. On Facebook and on Instagram, we're at Recycle Your Black Dollar. So that's the Recycle Your Black Dollar on Facebook and on Instagram. And then as it relates to our conference, it starts at midnight on Friday, November the 27th. We're going to open up with a virtual DJ, just like how people go to Club Quarantine, Club Insomnia, and all this other stuff. We'll have black DJs throughout the lifespan of the conference, and then we'll have programmatic information. In our conference theme this year, again, it is the historical and psychological impact of recycling the Black dollar. And we want to not just make sure that there is a platform for Black businesses and Black organizations and Black professionals to be readily available, but it is also a platform where we're going to address some of the ills that have plagued our community on why we do or don't support our community, and tools on how we can move past it. And so on Friday, each day has a different theme. Friday is Blackout Friday. On Saturday, it's Small Business Saturday Stroll. We're working with the Greek sororities and fraternities so that they can incorporate their strolls, because they play such a rich part of our community. And so we're using that element of our culture to help promote and encourage people to either stroll online in this community, in this virtual space, to support a Black business, or stroll to the neighborhood brick and mortar Black-owned business and support them. But we're making that connection because it resonates so much and so richly. And then on Sunday, the 29th, it is Self-Care and Soulful Sunday. And so we want to not only make sure that we are speaking to our to the people that are of the faith community, but people that are not. This is still a space for you to be able to feel welcome and to be a part, and to take tools away that will be able to help you for self-care on a regular basis, just as a business owner or just as a person. Like, Black people are in the pandemic in 3 different major areas, right? And so how do we have those self-care tips and highlight businesses that really do speak to that? And then we'll have Jesus is my friend, and God, he keeps me on a regular. So it will be faith elements in it. We're not baptizing people with no other faith. I'm not trying to get people to believe what I believe. but this is how, this is how I operate.
And Shani, how do we register for the conference? How do we attend? And is there a fee?
All right. So, and then on Monday, it's Cyber Monday for the culture. And so we're going to be pushing social media, all platforms as much as we can, and getting people tweeting, email, carrier pigeon to don't fall for the sales that are on TV that's in front of you. Make sure that you are spending with a Black business. And you can do all of that when you go to our page. The conference, it is free to attend, and it is free for exhibitors. That's right. To be an exhibitor, it is free. To be an attendee, it is free. You just have to actually come and be an actual participant.
Now, is there a link that you need to give us that we need to promote or something like that?
It is all on the website, but I can make you guys a special link if you like. But the other piece too is, what you're doing, what you're asking me, you're being an ambassador. And so we need ambassadors to, again, go to Facebook, add that profile frame, letting people know, like, that's signaling to your network that, hey, I am a Black business, or I support Black businesses.
Now, let me say this about the frame too. Look at the frame that you choose, because you have several choices. Now, I was looking at it today because I was last night, because I was showing somebody else how to change it, and I noticed something. I noticed that one of the frames, both of them said recycle a Black dollar with that same thing, but one of the frames said buy recycle the Black dollar, and the other frame said buy somebody else's name.
If it's Zaza Brown, then it's mine. It's both of them.
Okay.
But for me personally, long as people, if it's one with a recycled Black dollar with a Black power fist, long as people are getting a message out there, they don't have to just come to me and feel like it's just us. It's a larger community. And so whatever it is, just let people know that you're being intentional, or that you are a Black business. We definitely want the support, but supporting another organization with the same type of mission is all the same thing to me, honestly. And then, if you guys want to link to your page, to your website, or for your social media, by all means, we can make sure that you guys have it, whatever, this is about getting the message out to the larger community.
Right. It's right there. It's as soon as you go onto the page, I noticed it. It's right there in the right-hand corner where you can register. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
Can't miss it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I put the link under the individual thoughts as well.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And then if anybody has any questions, if you know anybody Black, if they getting a check for it, or is a passion project.
Everybody Black.
It is, yeah. Like, listen, sue me, because I'm rooting for everybody Black. Like that, I write this song on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want us to make sure that people understand that this is a space that people don't feel like they're being taken advantage of, they're being bamboozled. It is a space where you can come, and I am busting my tail like crazy to continue to get funding. So this is free to the vendor and to the attendee.
Awesome.
Because I don't want barriers to be in the way as to why people don't know about Black businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Appreciate that.
Definitely appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for
hopefully
having me.
we get some folks that will attend. I guess it's not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, the last weekend of the month. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving
So
weekend.
after Thanksgiving, we tell them
Ain't no Thanksgiving.
So
It is.
whatever your virtual turkey day is gonna be, do not get up and go stand in line at Walmart like you what you doing.
I bet you could pick up your plate.
I'm gonna get a plate, just put it on the porch, because I ain't coming in. Put it on the porch.
Right. So we're trying to get people to not stand in line at Walmart and the big box stores, or have all this stuff in your cart at 6 o'clock in the morning. So you can be intentional, because a lot of those box stores, they don't respect you. They are after your dollar. And in order for you to continue to grow past this movement, we have to unite. So if it's gonna cost you a little extra, it's going to cost you a little extra. But people understand the value and the power that we bring to stimulate this economy, and you paying a little extra to support until the larger community can get to buying in volume and supporting in volume, then the prices will come down. But we export out of here within 6 hours, that when people do start their business, they have to start high, because the net cost, or the per unit cost, or whatever the case is, it is at a high price, because you can't buy in bulk, because they don't quite have the audience yet. Right. So we have to be able to do that to help each other out, to help ourselves in the long run, and not just for us in the here and now, but for our children, for generations yet unborn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Everybody froze.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate your time. We're definitely going to push this show for the next week and a half, up until almost time for your Thanksgiving conference.
Yeah.
Definitely informative, made me think on a couple of different levels. That's a definite. So we definitely appreciate you, and we're passing the word.
Thank
just
you.
Because of what we do anyway, but we definitely gonna pass the word. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Enjoy your
Thank you, Chantel.
Bye.
See y'all.
Bye-bye.
See you.
But Derek, you have to, on Netflix, you have to watch Social Dilemma. It'll make you think so. Oh,
you haven't watched it yet?
It blew my mind.
Yes,
I don't think Derek saw that.
I got Netflix. I got it, but I'm on repeat with Criminal Minds and
no, what?
Go watch Social Dilemma. I'm telling you, it's gonna mess you up. It's gonna mess you up.
Mess you all up of how you use the internet.
Yeah.
Right.
It's gonna mess you up, but then it's also going to change your mind, and you're gonna know what you need to do.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know what I don't do now? Like the recommendations that they recommend something on your screen, I never go to those anymore. That's my first start. I'm not doing that because it's a trap.
If you want something, go specifically to where you know to go to get it. Don't click on that stuff. It's clickbait. Don't do it.
Right. Grooming us.
Man, it freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's one of the things that they've been, I guess, slowly challenging because of social media and technology, that we're actually able to be groomed to do damn
We've
been
anything. Seeing it, and we've been talking about it. It is no secret that, not even that I typed it in here, we talking right now. It is no secret that I was thinking about going on Amazon and buying a pair of sneakers, and then just to get off of there, and then all these sneakers from Amazon start popping up. There was no secret. I didn't even type it in. We talked about it. I'm my phone sitting there, supposedly minding its business,
recording everything,
all of my business, recording everything, and everything that I just talked about. I pick up my phone and I go to whatever social media outlet, and here we go, popping up all that stuff I talked about. Just popping it in my. I don't need you on my face.
It talks about the way the information is fed to people, how different demographics is fed to them, how you won't see the same thing I see. It was interesting. That thing had my mind. It had my attention.
I was taught years ago. I was taught how to change your persona online.
Right.
And because all of us have a profile online.
Right.
We do. We have a profile online, and we never really thought about to see what's online about us. I've Googled myself. Have you Googled yourself? Google yourself, and you can see what people think about you. I Googled myself one time, and this man had wrote a whole blog and had me in his blog. Me and a couple other people I know. Now, I wasn't personally in his blog. He had me in his blog because I worked for the NAACP, and it was positive, thankfully. But if somebody puts something out there negative about you, guess what? It stays there. Now, you can do the work personally to bring it way, 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 way down. And so it's on page 100 instead of page 1. So you can do that. And that's specific, but you have to specifically do it. But if somebody go online and say, I hate Derek, gram of this visual thoughts or whatever, it's there. It's there. It's
Yep.
out there. And just like I remember a couple years ago, we might remember where there was a site, don'tdateemgirl.com.
I remember that.
Remember that site, right? So I found somebody I knew on that site, and this girl was dogging him out. And anybody who wants to can go up there and put a guy on there that they don't like. And I saw also on one of the judge shows that the guy took the girl to court who he thought put him up there. And he also took to court the don'tdateemgirl.com people. And they said you can put whatever you want up there, and they can only take it down if requested by the person who put it there. So he had to figure out, he had the one girl, he had to figure out who put it there. He done dog so many girls out.
Right.
So he couldn't figure out who put it there. But even if they took it down, because the World Wide Web
still there.
Everything is still there.
Yeah.
It's still there. Even if it's deleted, it's still there.
It's been shared too much.
Yeah, it's been shared a lot. So just know you can change your persona, but Google yourself. You'll find some interesting stuff. I Googled myself.
I've been cussed out a few times by people. I don't,
And it's all the Facebook beefs that you had and everything. It's on there. Google it.
Oh,
you can find it.
Google that just to see.
You can find it.
I would get a good couple chuckles out of it. Anyway,
it is there. Absolutely.
The Ravens are on. Oh, folks, this is the new YouTube station, the DG Show with Dana and Coco. Please,
I have a bone to pick with people.
Share.
I have a bone to pick with people real quick. This is our new YouTube station. I asked people to go on, like, share, join, and all that, subscribe, right? And people's like, I subscribe. I went there one day. That thing said 7 subscribers. And it's 3 of us. Y'all lying. Stop lying. Go to the page and subscribe. And stop lying, talking about I subscribe. No, you didn't. We see you. Go on there and subscribe. Stop playing.
We see you.
We see you. Stop lying. Go subscribe.
Yeah, definitely.
It don't cost you a dime to subscribe.
It don't cost you nothing.
We coming though. We coming. We getting it together. We gonna have some perks on here. Like I say, I think I like it a little bit better. They also have they got a studio with the everything. We just got to get into it. I have to just add you 2 names so we can do everything all at once. At the same time while we on live. But their studio and things of that nature is better than just Zoom, because Facebook is just live. It's not.
And if y'all subscribe, we can grow together. Come on, y'all.
Yes, definitely. We try. We're definitely growing the station, folks.
For Visual Thoughts alone, we have nearly 1,000 people. If each one of y'all,
no, you have over 1,000 people in Visual Thoughts.
35. It'd be the same 35.
Right. If each one of y'all subscribe, come on.
We good. I agree. We got a nice bump.
It's free, y'all.
So maybe we can start pushing that. Everybody that posts,
yes,
we want to start putting our link to the YouTube station and say, if you like this, or you commented on this, go to check out our YouTube.
That's it.
Like, check us out on Sundays. That's all. We're gonna start bugging them.
Absolutely. Let's go.
It. But the Ravens on. So
all right.
Good night, ladies.
Good night.